Miss Roberta. Thank you so much for having me here. And today we're here to make a gift for your descendants. And so let's start. We're in Iowa, Louisiana right now, but you grew up in Cameron Parish, right?
Yes.
What's a great memory that you have of living in Cameron Parish? Is there?
Well, we lived in Oak Grove, next door to South Cameron High School. My daddy was a hunter guide. He worked for the hunting club, and he got to be good friends with a lot of the hunters. And they came over, and my neighbor was Beverly Rediford, and we were in the front yard with Shirley Temple curls, and this hunter took pictures of us, and we kept that until Hurricane Audrey and lost it.
Lost it in Audrey. Okay.
And Beverly Sue and I would walk to the corner store right there at Oak Grove.
Yes.
And her uncle owned it, and I would. Well, in fact, we walked the day before Hurricane Audrey, and we said, can't be a hurricane coming that close. It's so pretty. It didn't look stormy or anything. It was a pretty day.
Yes.
That early in the afternoon while we were walking, but things turned worse after that.
I know Miss Beverly. I did her story also, and I know yours is very similar. Y'all were in the same place, but what school did you attend? You lived in Oak Grove. Did you attend Grand Chenier or Creole?
Grand Chenier. I went to school in Grand Lake for 6 weeks because we were living in a Gale's house in Chalkley the Chalkley area.
The Gale family from Lake Charles. Okay, all right.
And we lived downstairs, and my uncle and aunt and 2 boys lived upstairs, and the kitchen was for both of us. And went to school in Grand Lake, and Mrs. Helms was my teacher there. And I got to get good friends with some of the students there. We moved back home in a tent, and we bought 2 little rent houses my aunt and them had, and we had them moved there at the house and lived in it. It had a kitchen and.
So there were 2 homes that y'all had moved to the place where y'all were living, but the house that y'all were living in was gone.
There was a hole there.
Okay, there was nothing left.
And we watched my sister's trailer house turn over and float away, and that was in our yard right on the side of our house. Anyway, we lived in a tent for a while.
One of the Red Cross tents?
You're right.
Okay.
And we had an outdoor potty.
Yes, I've heard. Did y'all rebuild?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we bought my cousin's house, Baudouin, J.P. Baudouin's house. They weren't through building it, and they had moved it where we lived, and we had it till Hurricane Laura. Well, the morning of Audrey, I was young, 12 years old, and my dad, our barn was between our house and my sister's house, and my daddy was going to go let a calf out of the pen that was in the barn so he could go get loose in case the water came up some. And whenever he walked out the door, our power went out. Whenever he got out of the door, the flashlight, because this was like 2:30 in the morning, I think. When he did that with the flashlight, he saw there was water over the road already. So he knew we couldn't get out. So we hurry up and got ourselves together, and we walked over through the hurricane fence and that, and went through the cornfield. And when we got to the school, we had to cross over the hurricane fence, and I don't know how we did it, but we did it.
Y'all woke up Nanny and them too.
Yeah, we all went. And my sister and husband and the kids and mom and dad and I. And so when we got to the school, there was already quite a few people there because another janitor, Irvis Porche, had the keys, and he had opened it up and let people in.
Can we talk about the time at the school, in the cafeteria?
In the auditorium?
In the auditorium, yes.
Yes, the Baptist preacher, which was Wallace Primo, and his wife and children. I don't remember exactly how many children they had, 3 or 4. Yeah. At the time, I think they've had some more after that. But and my sister and her husband and their 2 babies were going to be put in the air conditioning ducts on top of the stage. And because my sister had her second son was 9 months old, and he was on special milk, Sol B milk, and we excuse me, they suggested that I go up there with them, and so we got up there on some tables and the long curtains on the stage. And then they washed away. When it come time for us to get down, we couldn't use that. So, but there was a by the stage for them to unload stuff and everything. There was a roll-up door there, and we could see the stuff just go in and out, round.
So it was flooded in the auditorium, and y'all were up on top of the air conditioner vents.
Right. And my parents and a lot of other people went into the band room, and they were where the instruments were kept on the shelves. And we heard a lot of noise at one time and couldn't figure out what it was. It was some men coming in from offshore that had swam in there, and it was all the glass in the front of the auditorium that broke with all the trophies in that. Wow. And it made a real big noise, and so a loud noise.
The men that were swimming in, this was during the storm? Mm-hmm. So they arrived.
They floated in.
They floated in, and they stayed with y'all?
Yeah.
They went into the band room, not on top of the air conditioners.
No.
They went to the band room, but you remember them coming in during the storm, just floating in. That's amazing.
Well, it was a lot of noise at that time because all the glass broke.
Right, yes.
And all the trophies and that. But anyway, they took down the wrestling pads.
The mats. Yeah, the mats, yeah.
Off of the wall in the gym and laid them on the floor that night for people to be able to stretch out and rest.
Did you get any rest? Do you remember?
Very little.
I figured, yeah. You're
laying on top of all that debris underneath.
Yes, You were able to get down though, right? Do you remember how y'all got down off of the...
A bunch of men just helped us down some kind of way.
Okay. And then you were saying earlier, right before we started talking about this, that once everything calmed down, y'all were going to walk to Creole?
We had to walk to Creole. We didn't have any cars or anything to get over there.
Okay. Everything was washed away.
And just north of Creole, which was 3 miles from Oak Grove to Creole, we found all kind of pictures and all kind of things that had floated there, people that I knew in picture frames and that. Really? And my mom and dad and myself, and there were some other people, but I can't recall exactly who they were now. But we walked to Creole, and everybody was there as far as you could go north, because the bridge north of Creole was washed out. Yes. Until they started coming in with some ducks from McNeese, from Lake Charles or Fort Polk or wherever at the time. But a helicopter took my sister and her husband and the kids to McNeese.
Why did the helicopters take people and not y'all?
Because of the baby. They were taking the one that was sick or something.
Yes, okay.
The baby needed some milk. Didn't have any
special milk, of course. Yes, okay.
But anyway, when the ducks picked us up and we rode to McNeese stadium.
Yeah, I think it was the arena, the rodeo arena.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yes, and y'all got there.
And we found my sister and them, and they had a family had offered them to go stay at her house on Lake Street.
Okay.
And so she asked them if they had enough room for my dad and mom and myself. And they said yes, so we ended up going there.
And that's that big wooden house that's still there in 2024, whenever we're talking about this.
Right.
It's still there, kind of a little bit north of Our Lady Queen of Heaven Church.
That's correct.
Yes.
Dr. Fnatic lived right across, and then the milk, goose milk.
Yes, okay.
My first cousin went over there, and she had her baby. The hurricane
Kind of.
brought the pressure brought it down.
Yes.
So that was things I remember that happened.
Those are priceless memories, definitely. And so y'all stayed there in that house, and then at some point, like you were saying, y'all went back and stayed in a tent.
Well, they said, first of all, they said they were going to move. Like Robert E. Lee was the owner.
Okay.
They had quite a few kids, and they were going move somewhere else to go to work or something. So we had to find a place, and that's when we got the house from the Gales in not Grangerville. It was by the Shell Oil camps, way at the end. You couldn't go any further.
Okay.
And the bus come pick us up. Miss Mouton would come pick us up there.
Okay.
And go to Grand Lake School for those 6 weeks that I attended there. And then we moved back to Oak Grove.
To the tent and then the rent houses. And okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
I remember after Hurricane Audrey, they told us there was some trains coming into Lake Charles. And I knew where it was from, Michigan, I want to say. But we went in there and found clothes for us to have some clothes in that. But I think that's about it.
Thank you very much. To be continued. Well, I'd love to hear the other stories, but we're going to get this one and see, how your family and the public, they can learn something from this. So